Oh, here we go. I'm in my pod and we're crash landing on, it said Aqua. So this is the planet Aqua. Oh my God, that was hard. Oh my God. Okay, let's get out of here and get my legs underneath me. So, hi everybody. Today I am playing Empyrion Galactic Survival. And this is my escape pod that, well, we just fell out of space with. So I'm going to go ahead. One of the first things that you need to do in this game is make sure that you gather all your items from the escape pod. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to just select all that, and all of this item is now going to appear in my backpack, which you can't see, which is behind. Actually, you can sort of see, it's right there. So here's the player's inventory. Let's just talk about a couple quick things. Here is what I look like, and I'm going to go ahead and take my helmet off, but I'm going to talk about that in just 2 seconds. So we are on a planet called Aqua, and Aqua is a breathable planet, so my helmet does not need to be on. This section here is the toolbar, so this is where I can place items that I want to get to quickly, and what I'm going to place there right now from my inventory or my backpack is my pistol. The other thing to keep in mind with this game is you always need to be checking this little area down here, which is like your status. It tells you your health status, hunger status, oxygen, and stamina. And oh, my pod disappeared. So yeah, as soon as you gather all your items, your pod will disappear. It also tells you the speed that you're traveling at, whether your jetpack is on or off. The planet has some gravity, and whether your helmet is on and off. So I'm going to go ahead and take my helmet off. So I'm going to press U. It may be different on your keys, but I think the standard is U unless you change it. So that's a good point there. Make sure that you know what your key settings are. Otherwise, you're going to be fumbling, and you're not going to be able to maybe run fast enough, etc. So check that out before you start the game out. Next thing is your experience, your level. Right now I'm at level 1, and as I do things like mine or find resources, you're going to get experience points. Helmet is off, but for whatever reason it is showing. Let me take this off for 1 second, put it back on, and bada boom. So even though it's off, it doesn't show you right away in your player's inventory because I already had it open previous. So keep that in mind so that you know whether or not your helmet is on or off. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at how you set up your player. So let's take a quick look at that right now. We're going to select player setup. So here you have the option to choose whether you want to be a male or a female. And the game starts with a pretty generic looking outfit. You have your main color. The main color here is white. I'm not sure which part. It looks like it's just the outer area here. So let's go change that to, oh, I see. So that's the main body. What color do I want the main body? I think I'm gonna keep it. So if you don't hit the button set, then nothing's going to change. I'm going to keep the area here gray, and so I'm going to change the extra color to blue. Oh, so the blue actually changes your main. I think I kind of, let's go deeper. Let's see what happens. A little deeper. Okay, I think I like that better. So I'm going to hit set. So now I have this new look. You can go ahead and change the color of your skin and hair, but that's pretty much it as far as player setup. It's pretty easy. So let's get back to the game. Okay, other things to keep in mind in the game, I'm still in the player's inventory, is faction. This is key. There's 2 factions in the game. You have a player faction and an alien faction. To create a faction, just click on create and type in a name. And I'm going to go ahead and call mine Eagle's Nest. That's my faction. Factions are important because when you set up your base with your core, nobody else can enter your base. If you don't have a faction or if you don't have a core and you start building something, anybody can go ahead and access your base. So that's key. It also connects your different items together, and we'll talk about that a little later when we get to that. So I'm on this lovely planet. First thing I'm going to need to do is check out my surroundings and see what sort of resource deposits are near me. And there's one right there. So I have a Promethium deposit, which is a really good one. Oh, and there are wildlife on the planet as well. So what's coming up? I hear something, but I don't see. Oh, there it is. So there's an alien dinosaur. They are harmless unless you attack them. So don't attack them unless you want food. And when you do that, well, we'll give you some pointers. Right now, we're going to leave that guy alone. And I think I'm just going to swim across. For me to be able to swim across, I need to make sure that I have nothing in my hand. And so here we go. There's a better view of my backpack, which is really your player's inventory. It holds all your items, and your jetpack as well is attached to that. So I'm going to go ahead and cross. A tip, make sure when you're building your base, you do build your base near water. That is a key. Water comes in handy for a bunch of different things, and which we'll talk about later. And also make sure that you build your base near some sort of deposit. The best ore deposit obviously would be iron deposit, because you need iron for everything that's around you. So the other thing to keep in mind too, so I just found copper deposit, and look at that. There is a mini drone, gun drone coming. Yeah, he is coming towards me, but he's pretty far away. I don't need to worry about him. So I've got 2 deposits right now. Promethium deposit, which helps me with fuel, and copper deposit, which is going to help me with some other components. So let's just stop right here for 2 seconds, and let's have a look at another item. Let's look at all the items we took out of the escape pod. So let's have a quick look here. So we have a flashlight. I just picked up the corn dog, which is something that's edible, because I don't want to use my emergency rations. I'm going to leave those for emergencies. That's why it's called the emergency ration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and collect resources on the planet and eat those instead, and we'll talk about that as we go. You are supplied with a drill. The information for what I'm pointing to is on the right-hand side of the screen. So you get a drill, and you get drill charges. You also get a flattening tool, which comes in very handy when placing your base. You get a small medical kit, antidote pills, and you'll need that if you're ever bitten by an insect or a plant. And we talked about emergency rations. You get 2 purified water, small oxygen, and you get silicone ingot, copper ingot, and iron, as well as cobalt. So those are your main resources, as well as you have magnesium powder, promethium pellets, which is one of the items which we found. You start off with 5 fuel packs, so don't go crazy when you first start off until you have your constructor set up. So your constructor is solar base, and it will help you to craft things, and we'll talk about that as soon as we start crafting. You also get 2 oxygen bottles and a generator for creating oxygen. You get 2 growing plots, 1 grow light, and you have a bunch of items which you can start a little mini farm, and these are going to come in handy for your food items later. My level is almost at 2, so this here indicates your level that you're at. And well, we already talked about your factions. So tech tree is where you level up. So if you have any points, which I do not have any points right now to unlock, but I will shortly, you can then start utilizing them and unlocking items, which we'll talk about when that happens. So I found 2 different deposits here, which are really good. I'm just going to keep on walking a little bit more to find a suitable area, and you want to keep in mind the timing. So again, Here's the section that tells you how much daylight time you have. So it shows the sun down, so I have 5 hours and 15 minutes left until the sun sets. So that's really good to know, and always keep that in mind, because at nighttime you do get some critters that you may not want to come across. So let's walk as fast as we can. So those corn dogs that I've been picking up, you only find them along the beach area. So it is good to be near a beach, because you know you're going to have some food resources. You will find other plant life that you can grab. I'm going to just go ahead and grab this. And this cricket beside me here, you don't need to worry about him. He's friendly until you fire upon him. So let's grab that. That's good for making coffee. I'm just going to quickly run around here. Oh, and that's what I'm looking for. So there we have it. So I leveled up and I found an iron deposit, which is really cool. So one thing to keep in mind about mini drones, if you see them, are usually telling you there's some sort of a resource around, or perhaps there is a alien base of some sort, a power plant, or something along that nature. So I'm probably going to want to check out what he's hovering over there, but we're not going to do that today. Today it's all about getting started and finding a good spot to set up my base. So let me see here. One thing that you're going to need to know when you start setting up is you're going to need a flat area. And I don't care about these plants because I can't really gather them, but I can gather this plasma here. This alien plasma, because I can use that to craft items, medicine or other items like that. So you want to grab some stuff, but don't necessarily grab everything, because some items have a shelf life, and so they will perish. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to swim across here, and I think I'm going to set up my base over here. So let's get across here, and let's see. Let's do a time check. It is 4:10. You do want to get something started. But right now, let's just take a look and start flattening the area and get everything set up. So I do have an oxygen generator, and what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to place that oxygen generator somewhere near the water or in the water. I prefer to set it in the water. I have set it off like on the sand, and it wasn't able to start, even though if you read the wikis are going to tell you if it's blue you can place it anywhere. Well, I wouldn't place it here, because even though it tells you you can place it here, you're not going to be able to actually generate anything. At least that's what I found. So I'm going to go ahead and submerge it just a little tiny bit. It doesn't have to be all the way in. Let's see. Okay, that's right there. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, and there you have it. So there is my generator. To get my generator going, I'm going to go ahead and select it. And you're going to know you have it selected because your crosshair changes to that yellow square and the dashes around it. Now, because I don't have a lot of fuel, I'm only going to put 2 fuel tanks in there for now. And as you can see, it's on. It's on, and it's going to start creating oxygen for me. So that's number 1. Okay, number 2, let's put down, we're going to have to put down this survival constructor down, because that is like our craftable area. Like in Minecraft, you have your Minecraft table. Well, this is the same thing. Now, I don't want to put it very close to my base, because when I start expanding my base, I'm going to put it right here in the sand. When I start expanding my base, it might be in the way. So we're going to place it right here. And the next thing I'm going to do, again, it's going to tell me that I changed the buttons to how to access items, so that it's close to my my keypad. I don't have to, switch hands or stop doing something to be able to access it. So I'm going to go ahead and put all these things, except for the food items. I'm going to put the food items in my toolbar, because I'm going to want to eat it. Now, shelf life. If you look at this, it tells me there's only 27, I'm guessing that's minutes, otherwise it perishes. The Java does not perish. So as soon as you click on the item, it tells you whether or not they perish. All my saplings here, they do not perish. So we're good there. So as soon as I have placed items in here, like my ignet and stuff like that, actually I'm going to keep the drill on me. I'm just a little tiny bit anal, so I'm just going to put my ignets up top. So once I've placed these items in here, it tells me what I can craft because they become highlighted. So a key thing you're going to want to do right off the bat is start crafting metal plates, because metal plates is sort of like the building block to everything. Also, you're going to want to craft some metal components, controls, but we're going to do that as needed, because right now I only have 350 ingots, and I don't want to go and waste them all. Even though right now I do know there is an iron deposit nearby, I'm still going to be a little bit careful, or you should be careful if you're starting off and you don't have an iron deposit nearby. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start creating, let's say 20 or 30 metal plates. And what that will do is if I hit my shift and click on it, I can create them in multiples. So I'm going to create 30. I'm going to start off my constructor by clicking the on button, and it's going to start generating that item for me. So while it's constructing, because that does take a bit of time, and this does work on solar power, if you're wondering, you know, why is it working? That's why, because it's solar. While that's working, I'm going to go ahead up here, because I've got some of the main items here, and I'm going to start to level off an area where I can place my base. So let's get the drill. I'm going to move the drill over here, as well as the flattening tool. Okay, I'm going to blast away, first of all, I'm going to blast away some of these plants out of my way, so I don't have to worry about them. Oh, wait a second. Okay, let's get rid of that. Quick shot. And I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure. I don't remember whether the flattener actually does it. It might not, but let's just quickly do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flatten. So if you look at the little information button at the very bottom, it says filler and flattener. So that's exactly what they do. So if you click on your right mouse button, that's going to fill. If you click on your left mouse button, that's going to flatten. So we're going to start flattening this area right here. So let's do that right now. And we're going to try and get this as flat as possible. We're going to get rid of this entire hump here. And that way we'll be able to put our base block on here, which is going to be the next thing we're going to get to and create so that we can do our base. Okay, so the flattener does remove the I think I'm going to want to take this down even more. The flattener does remove the plant life, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to go in a circular motion to try and keep this pretty level, and it's doing a pretty good job flattening it. So let's have a look here. Okay, I have 2 hours until sunset. So let's keep on flattening this. Now, at nighttime, there is a little critter that comes out, and he's pretty nasty. And he kind of announces himself because he has this really weird shrill. And then as he finds you, if he spots you and he's attacking you, he will come at you and start squealing. So it's like a high-pitched squeal. So you know you're under attack. Okay, there. For whatever reason, that plant didn't want to disappear. Let's get rid of this hump here. Okay. There's a hump here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's head back over to our constructor. There. Any more? Any more? Yeah, right here. Let's get rid of this. So I just clicked the right mouse button to zap it, and then I'm flattening it with my left mouse button. Sorry, with my right mouse button I'm flattening, with my right I zapped it. Okay, let's quickly, okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's head back to the constructor. I think that's a good starting point there. Okay, let's have a look and see if all my metal pieces are done. And so yeah, they're look, that is perfect timing. I can't believe how well that worked out. Okay, so what I'm gonna need to do to start off my base, as you can see here, you have different components. You have your food processor, that's the best thing to call it, where you can go ahead and grill these items if you have meat. I have Java and I have water, so I can create coffee, okay? And coffee obviously helps you with your stamina. The weapon and items, right now, I can't really create anything because I don't have any of the other components. So I'm gonna need this base starter. So what I already have, and you can see it's highlighted in green, is the core. If you look on the very right hand side, it says base starter, input items. I need 8 hull blocks and I already have 1 core. So let's go ahead and create the hull blocks. And these metal plates that I created is all you need to create hull blocks. So I'm going to go ahead, and I know I'm going to need a whole bunch of hull blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold my shift, and I'm going to create 80, which will give me a really good amount to start off with and start building my base. The other thing that I'm going to need to do, and I'm going to start crafting those right now, is if you head over to your device components, you're going to need a small fuel tank, you're going to need a small generator, and a large constructor to be able to get your base going and craft indoors instead of having to run to this portable one that I'm using outside. So what do I need for a fuel tank? Well, if you click on it, it tells you I need 3 cables, I need metal components, and I need another item. Now, if you notice, because I clicked on it, instead of just highlighting it, like going back to it and highlight it, and the reason the highlight goes off is every time I'm constructing a block, it actually takes the information off that I'm looking at. See, like that. So because I placed 3 and I actually can't make them right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. So to eliminate any items that you've placed in here, you can go ahead, hit your shift and left click, and that will remove the item for you. So let's stop that so it doesn't take this away. I need 4 electronics, I need 4 metal components and 3 cables. So I'm going to go ahead, turn this on, and I'm going to go to components, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create 10 of each for now. Okay, so 10 metal components, electronics, control device, what else, cables, and this is going to come in handy for making ammo, etc. I'm not going to do that right at this minute, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to let these items construct, and when they're ready, we're going to get our base block. See, right now it's highlighted because I have 8, actually I have more than 8 blocks, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes, please construct that for me. So let's come back when that stuff is all ready. Okay, so the items in the constructor are going to take a little bit of time to create, to make. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop here, and I want to thank everybody for watching my first episode, and next time up we're going to start making our base. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to construct all those items that we need, this small generator, the fuel tank, and the large constructor, and make sure that our base block is created, and then we're going to start placing everything and adding the items to the base. So thanks again for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.